Hi lovely people, it's your girl Solum Stitches. Welcome back to my tutorial and thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, don't go without subscribing. Just hit on that red icon to subscribe. It's absolutely free. Okay, so in our today's class we shall be looking at how to make a kissing pleat peplum with a bishop collar neck. Okay, all right, so first we'll be cutting our princess bust hair method for it. Okay, so if this is the first time, if you don't know how to cut your princess bust hair, don't worry, this video gets you covered. Okay, just stay put and watch till the end, and please leave a comment at the comment section if you have any question or any style that you want us to draw for you. You can just do that on the comment section, and just don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. All right, okay, so first I'll be folding my fabric into two. Okay, all right, so our measurement will be starting from this point. Okay, so the half length I'm working with is 17 inches. So I'll be adding extra 1 inch for my joining to make it 18 inches. So here I will mark my 18 inches. Okay, then from my shoulder to my bust point is 12 inches. I'll be marking 12 and a half inches. Okay, the half will be taken away from the shoulder. Okay, so that's why I'm coming back by half an inch, so that by the time we join the shoulder it will give us that 12 inches. All right, so here I'll mark my 12 and a half, and my under bust, from my shoulder to my under bust is 15 inches, and also be adding half an inch to make it 15 and a half. All right, okay, so here the difference I have here from this here to here is 3 inches, so I'll come up by 3 inches. Okay, all right, so this now we serve as our upper bust. Okay, okay, so the next thing that we do now is to take our shoulder measurement, and the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches divided by 2 to give us 8 inches. So from here now I will take my 8 inches. Okay, all right, then I also mark my 3 inches for our shoulder slope. At this 8 inch I will come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. And the armhole I'm working with is 18 inches. Okay, divide by 2 will give us 9 inches. Okay, all right, but because this is a princess bust here, we don't need the armhole, so the only thing we have to do now is to come down by 3 inches here. Okay, all right, so here I'll just make a straight line to connect it. So next is to take our nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, and nipple to nipple measurement, that is the bust band that we are working with, is 8 inches divided by 2 to give us 4 inches. So here I'll be adding what I will use to join it, and I'll be making use of 4.25. Okay, all right, so here if you're making use of half an inch you do so, but me I'm making use of 2.5, so here I will just add my 4.25. okay, so I'll just mark this 4.25 down to my waistline. So now just go ahead to connect it with a straight line. I'll also connect my shoulder slope. Okay, so from those 3 inches now, I'll just make a slight curve to connect it to my bus fan. Okay, this way. So now I'll just go ahead and cut this out. Okay, here I folded my fabric into two again. Then I'll place this center part here. Then I'll make sure that I have up to 2.5 inches here where I'll be placing this my center parts. Okay, all right. So I'll sketch out this. Okay. Now mark out those notched parts. Alright, the next thing I'll do now is to take my armhole measurement. So from this part, remember that we have already taken away our shoulder slope. Okay, so here I will take my normal armhole measurement, which is 9 inches when divided by 2. Okay, alright. So here, so at this point now I'll be taking my our bust measurements. Okay, and here I'll be taking our waist measurement. Okay, so here my measurement will be starting from this part, including the center part. Okay, so the bust measurement that I have here is 39 inches. Okay, so when divided by 4, it will give us 9.75. So here I will mark my 9.75. Okay, so I'll add extra 2 inches for my allowance. Okay, for my waist measurement, the waist I'm working with is 35 inches, so divided by 4 to give us 8.75. 8.75. Now this waistline I'll be adding 2.5 inches. Okay. Okay, so now I can quietly remove this. So at this center point line, I'll come out by 2.5 inches for the boldness of our breast. Okay, so I'll come out here by 2.5 inches. Okay, all right, so from here I will connect it. But just make sure that your connection is not pointed. Okay, so from here now I'll also connect it to our under bust. Okay, Okay, so here is what we have. All right, so I'll go ahead now and cut out my back piece. Okay, so sorry. I forgot that this dress will be having a zipper at the front part, and I would have used those center part that I cut first for the back. Okay, since I did not include the zipper, but I've already cut out my neckline, and the neckline for the back is only to be taken off of 1 inch, so I can't be able to make use of it again for the back part. So what I just did is just to place it on another fabric, okay, then mark out my zipper allowance. All right, so I'll just go ahead now to cut it out. So I'll just go ahead now and mark back my 4 inches, then my 3 inches, okay. So this is for my front. So I can now go ahead now and cut out my back piece. Okay, so this one now will be a waist. All right, I'm so sorry for that. Okay, here I have my fabric folded into two. Okay, so this is where my measurement to be starting from. So from here to here is my uh, half length measurement, my under bust, my nipple point, and my upper bust. Okay, so here I'll take my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches when divided by 2. Okay, I'll also take my 3 inches for my shoulder slope. Here I'll come down by 1 inch. Then I'll take 9 inch, which is my bust measurement. Okay, all right. So from here I will mark my 3 inches. And I'll go ahead and connect this. Okay, so the next thing to do is to take my bust band measurement, which is 8 divided by 2 to give us 4 inches, plus my allowance, which is 4.25. So I'll mark my 4.25. So I'll go ahead now and connect it. Okay, the next thing to do is to impute my circumference measurement. My bust measurement is 39 inches divided by 4 to give us 9.75. 9.75. Now add extra 2 inches for my allowance. Okay, I will add my waist circumference is 35 inches divided by 4 to give us 8.75, and I'll add extra 2.5 inches here. So I'll go ahead now and connect it. Okay, so the next thing to do is to, from here now, I will connect to those points as we did at the front part. So I'll just connect it to my bust point. Okay, so from here now, I will connect to my armhole. Okay, all right, so I'll just go ahead now and cut this out. So before then, I will take out my neckline. I'm using 3 inches for my neckline, and for my neck depth I'm using only 1 inch. Okay, so I'm taking only 1 inch out. So from here I will connect it. Okay, okay, sorry, I didn't connect my shoulder slope. Okay, now I've cut out the whole piece, both front and the back. Okay, and I've also cut out my wording for the front part, and I've also ironed it to the dress. Okay, okay, and this is my lining for it. So I'll just go to my machine now and join the front and the back, then line it up, join also the lining separately and line it up. Okay, all right. Then coming to the peplum, is of two ways. It's either you cut your peplum in a circular form, which is using our circumference of a circle, or you cut it in a straight way, then pleat it. Okay, so for this tutorial I'll be cutting my peplum in a long way. Okay, so here altogether I have 106 100 and sorry, I have 130 something or thereabout for the length. Okay, then I have 9.5 for my for the width of my dress. Okay, all right. So what I would sorry for how I got the 9.5. The length of the blouse I'm working with is 26 inches. So minus our half length, which is 17 inches, to give us 9 inches. So I added half an inch that we used to join it at the body. And I've also cut out my lining for it. Okay. So I used my gum stay to gum it to give it a little bit of weight so that when I pleat it, it will help it to stand. So I'll go to the machine now and line it up. Okay, and I'll also line this one, then I'll come back and show you. Okay, I've lined it up with my lining and I've also turned this up. So you can see this is one part of the front. Okay, and this is my back, so I'll just go ahead and turn it up. So because this will be having a collar at the upper part, I didn't turn up the neck line. So after turning it inside out now, we'll now go ahead to stitch up this neck line. Okay, I'll just go ahead now and stitch up this neck line. Okay, and also do that for the front part. Okay, all right. So I'll just go ahead now, stitch up this down part, and I also closed my armhole part because this is a sleeveless. Looking at the picture we have there, you will see that there's something attached to the sleeve part. Okay, but the dress itself is a sleeveless dress. All right, so I close up this armhole part. Okay, all right, so I'll just go ahead and join it, then use the body measurement to shape it up. Okay, so after that, I've also lined my peplum. Okay, as you can see, it's very neat. All right, so I'll just go ahead now. After joining the bodies using the body measurement, I'll come at the down part and start to pleat my peplum this way. Okay, so my pleat will be that to that. Okay, I'll pleat it that to that. All right, so here I'll make it this way. Okay, so this is how I will continue it till the end. So by the end of the day, I will have something in this form. Okay, all right. Okay, as you can see, I've attached my pins to the peplum. I've also joined the bodies and close up the side with my allowance. Okay, I just thought it wise to come and show you guys how I pleated it for the benefit of those that don't know how to calculate it. Okay, because some of us will be confused on how to get the accurate box pleat. Okay, all right, for us to know the perfect way to pleat it for to avoid not being equal after pleating. Okay, so very fast, quick one. After attaching the front and the back body, okay, after joining the both side, we have to take the round measurement, including our zipper allowance. So whatever thing we have, okay, we can also calculate the peplum. If you know that we cut a straight peplum, but if we are to cut a circular peplum, what we have to do is to calculate to know how many inches you want to be in a particular pleat, okay, in a particular dart. When you know how much, for instance, if it's 4 that you want to use, that you want to pleat in each one, then you times that 4 by the number of where you want to pleat it. If you are pleating that to that, you calculate your that, times it by that 4, then add it up to what you get at your to what you get in your waist measurement. Okay, but since this is a straight one, after checking what I have here for my body, for my waist measurement, I have 38 and a half here, including my zipper allowance. Okay, so the next thing to do is to also calculate what I have here for the peplum. So in all here I have 110 inches. Okay, so what I will do now is to minus my 110 by this 38 and a half. So whatever thing you have, you divide it by where you want to pleat. Okay, what I mean is, when I have here is 110 minus 38.5, I'll be having 91.5 or thereabout. Okay, so when you do the calculation, you now check how you want to pleat. So for mine, I'm pleating that to that. Okay, I'm pleating that to that. So I will calculate the whole that I have. You know, the that also include our joining. Okay, the joining of the back and front, you also include that as the that. Okay, so in all I have 6 for the that. Then for this part, for the zipper part, I'll also pleat to face the zip, and the other side I'll also pleat to face the zip. So the two of them, I'll call it one that. All right, okay. So after my knotting, what I am dividing, I have 13.0 something, not up to what I can approximate. So I'm using 13 inches for each of my pleats. Okay, so that is what I did at this point. Okay, so I just left the small one so I can show you how I did it. All right, so my last pleat stopped at this point. Okay, so the next place for me to pleat now, it's at this joining here. Okay, which I also call my darts. Okay, so at this point now, I will straighten up this fabric, reaching to this point. Okay, reaching to this joining, I will mark it. Okay, so from that point now, I will take my 13 inches this way. I will take my 13 inches and I'll also mark. Okay, then I'll look for the midpoint, which is 6.5. So here I'll also mark. Okay, so here I have 3 places. So now I will push this mid one to touch this. Okay, to touch this joining this way. Then I will push this other one, this first mark, to lap it this way. Okay, then I will take this one to lap it up this way. Okay, so I will just use my pin now to hold it down. Okay, so I'll also repeat the same process to this that here. Okay, so I'll just straight it up this way and mark. Okay, then I'll take my 13 inches again. I'll take my 13 inches and I'll take my half, which is 6.5. All right, so here I will take this midpoint to this dot. Okay, then I will wrap it up with this. Then I'll take this here. this is a little bit thick. Okay, so now I'm left with this. So here, putting this, letting this to touch this. You make sure that when you are folding this part, that this faces the zipper part, okay? This way. When you open it up like this, you make sure that it is facing the zipper part this way, okay? All right. So here I have this. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and stitch this up. Okay, after stitching, I will attach my zip at the zipper area. Then I'll come back and take the measurement of our neck line to cut out our collar. Okay, so now I've carefully attached the peplum to the dress. Okay, and I've also inserted my zip. But the next thing to do now is to take the round measurement of our neck. Okay, and after measuring it, I have 20 inches, so I added extra 1 inch for my folding. Okay, so I added extra half an inch, 1 inch for my allowance. Okay, so now I'll be cutting out. I'll be using 2 inches for the band, so I have here 5 inch, okay, for the width and the length of 21 inches. So I'll just go ahead now and use my I'll use my gum stay to gum it, okay, so that it will have a little bit of weight and also help it to stand. Okay, so after that, I will now carefully attach it this way because I'm going to trim out this excess. I'm going to make sure that when attaching it, I cover up this zipper place and I'll attach it round. Okay, all right. So for the hand, looking at our picture, you see something, a kind of cone at the side of the sleeve. Okay, all right. So what we do now is to bring another piece of fabric. First of all, measure round, okay, where you want it to end. Okay, looking at that picture, you see that it reached the joining part, okay, which is the armhole part. So when I measure it round, I have 21 inches. Okay. Okay, I will fold my fabric in a triangular form. Okay, then I'll divide what I got by 2. So 21 divided by 2 will give us 10.5. All right, so here I will find my 10.5. Okay, so here I will mark my 10.5. Then I will determine the length that I want. So here I'll be using 4.5 inches. So from those parts now, I'll measure my 4.5. I'll just connect it. Okay, now how I'm going to reduce this part, okay, those edge that will be attaching to the armpit side. So I'll just go up by 1 inch, sorry, by 1.5 inch, okay. I'll just connect it this way. I don't want the two to be the same length, but you can decide to leave yours like that. Okay, so this is what I have. Okay, so that's when I attach it to. Okay, I will have something like this. So what I will do now is to go ahead and cut out my lining, and I'll cut out my gum stay that I will use to gum it so that it can be able to stand well. And after that, I will go ahead and attach it, and of course attach the neck part, okay, and that will be all. I will show you the finishing parts of our dress. Okay, so this is the end product of our clothes. Okay, as you can see, it comes out very beautiful. Thank you for watching till the end. Till we meet in my next class. Love you all. Bye.